Mena has revealed a bombshell in a startling change of events that has left fans completely stunned. It's so explosive that it's upending the whole love and hip-hop cosmos. Regarding behind-the-scenes hookups and covered affairs, you may believe you've heard it all, but we mean. In an exclusive Tearfield live webcast that has gone viral, Erica stares straight at the source. Into the camera, her lips quivering and her eyes burning, she whispered the words that no one ever anticipated. I was in a secret connection with Minx. The internet became viral right away. But that wasn't the Erica wasn't finished though, since what she disclosed next didn't simply shake the Erica claims that it completely turned the table upside down. Not only were they secretly having a love relationship, but she also gave birth to his child. While admirers attempted to piece together the details, no one knew about a youngster kept in the shadows. Together, the timeline and celebrities started commenting with mysterious posts. The turmoil only became worse when Yandy actually entered. The sinister aspect of all of this was that DC was concealing a whole second family. And why did Erica decide to reveal the facts right away after Mena When she dropped the bombshell during her live stream, admirers on the internet went crazy. Then observing Erica Minx's every action, and Yandy was rendered incoherent. Erica's comments reverberated like an explosion as they struggled to process what they had just heard. They had been quietly. I was in a relationship with men besties for years, and in a shaky voice, Erica admitted that we had a baby, and I'm not going to hide it any longer. Enough is enough. We were serious. Nobody anticipated this or saw it coming, yet all of a sudden everything from the little things began to make sense in the last several seasons of Love and Hip Hop. The strange glances, late-night phone conversations, and concealed tension had all been warning flags. However, everything was now becoming clear, and the reality was much messier than anyone could have predicted. This was no normal situation. Rather than being a straightforward conflict between two women over a man, this drama was a disclosure of hidden lives and treacherous truths that rocked the foundation of reality TV Erica's. She claims that her relationship with Mindy began years before this sensational live stream. At the lowest point of his sporadic relationship with Yandy, a man who had always been the center of attention found comfort in Erica, saying it all started innocently with two people discovering it wasn't planned, Erica, but they found solace in each other's companionship during turbulent times. Explained in a quiet but firm voice that we simply clicked where it should have been. Simply friends, but after a while, we became more than that. The romance had begun over text messages, phone conversations, and late-night meetings that the cameras could never see. Capture them. Erica's anguish at her own split with Safari was new, and both of them were at risk, and Minx was dealing with legal issues that threatened to destroy his world. They discovered each other's vulnerability, but their exchanges weren't innocent. Erica asserts that as the situation worsened over time, the meetings increased in frequency. Minx told her that their relationship with Yandy was all but ended, saying, "I'm done with Erica," acknowledged that it was only for the cameras, but now you and I were real. She first refused to trust him, but he persuaded her that his relationship with Yandy had been nothing more than. He even made a public spectacle by promising her that he would end the relationship and make amends. I wanted to believe him, Erica whispered, her tears breaking for them to be together. Weeping, he was everything I needed when he declared his love for me and gave me the impression that I was the one he was looking for. Was intended to be with, but everything was false. At least that's what Erica believes. They have since carried on their romance behind closed doors. Erica asserts, even intimate moments throughout the journey were concealed from Yandy and the rest of the globe. Yet when Erica learned she was expecting, everything changed and she became afraid. She wasn't sure what to do since she was afraid of the implications, not simply of getting pregnant. Engaged in the drama, but she was astonished by Menace's reaction when she told him. Didn't panic when she disclosed that he was unable to go and instead stayed. Don't worry, we'll make this work. For a brief moment, it appeared. Even going to doctor's appointments, gorgeous Mendes was there to support her. Because she thought the man she had fallen for was finally taking action, Erica felt as though she was living in a bubble. But when she saw Mintz and Yandy together, grinning for the cameras on the red carpet,
when Stevie J leaked a second segment of the tape, it made Scrippy's predicament even worse because the young Bambi could watch him whenever I felt like it. It's Stevie J. That's a cold, cynical tone from Bambi. He ought to have picked Erica. He was aware of what I was doing when I intervened, and Bambi wasn't simply going to go. She was ridiculing him the entire time, as evidenced by millions of followers. But matters become much more confusing when someone who might have been from Bambi's, leaked by their own group. Screenshots of voice notes and direct messages from Bambi to a close were real receipts, not hearsay. I made him look silly, dear daughter. And I had his house and cars in my name. I told you that these Atlanta men are sensitive when they fell in love. DM a producer. Don't let Mama D shoot this episode. She's toxic and I don't want her around me or my kids. She allegedly left a voicemail on Bambi's phone, and I'll make him beg first. Because he thinks this divorce will be amicable, he signs everything. However, the entire narrative suddenly shifted, and Bambi transformed from a distraught wife to a cunning fan, and critics weren't letting her off the hook. But with the courtroom incident and the audio leak, things became worse. A day later, Scrippy ceased tweeting, publishing, and even sharing stories until he shared a single dark screen with 3 characters. I believed her. We got you, Scrippy. He didn't deserve that, Mama. That post went viral, receiving hundreds of thousands of comments and 4 million likes in just 2 hours. D was right all along, so stop drinking the rest of the tea. Insiders say Lil Scrippy has now enlisted the services of a lawyer for both the divorce and full custody. In light of the leaked recordings that claim emotional manipulation, war sources in the courtroom say he plans to ask for full custody with the goal of drive him away from his children and use their union for financial benefit. And Bambi she became quieter instead than more vocal. Her group released a straightforward statement indicating that we are currently looking into the legality of these recordings, which were never intended for public release and are taken out of context. This leak. You won't take back what you said on that recording, girl. Here's the twist, though. No one saw this coming. Remember, Stevie J had more than devotion on his mind. He didn't only put the tape out to protect Scrippy, because an unidentified film crew insider alleges that Bambi and Stevie J had intimate discussions during a trying period in her life. Marriage. According to one insider, Stevie was always watching. And when he saw that Bambi was sick of Scrippy, he jumped in. They didn't go too far, but he understood things, and he, as a precaution, he kept receipts, which sounds like insurance, and now he's generating money. As a result, Bambi was exposed on tape and Mama D slapped her in court, taunting Scrippy Stevie J, who was enmeshed in his own secret scheme, as Scrippy readied himself for a bloody legal struggle, and hourly leaks of leaked texts continue to surface. This is not merely a reality TV program, but a fighting zone. The most peculiar part is that one of the producers from This Isn't Even the Worst of It. There's another tape, and if that one drops, Bambi's not just that. Love and hip-hop told. An entertainment blogger losing fans. What else may be on this tape? She may lose everything. Fans are now searching desperately for clues, DMing insiders, and dissecting every word from Stevie's past to make the next one better startling discovery. Because, let's be honest, if this is only the start, the major storm hasn't even come yet. At the moment when everyone thought the courtroom slap and Stevie J appeared live once again in the leaked tape's finale, smiling, drinking brown spirits, and without a shirt. 8 words that sent the internet into motion, he said. He carefully and painstakingly repeated it. The hotel footage is still unheard. People stopped. Yes, the hotel footage camera is honest. Ask Bambi. Within 30 minutes, a 15-second film was anonymously shared on a gossip website with almost 2 million followers, depicted Stevie J following a woman who had the same build, hairstyle, and pocketbook as Bambi as she left a hotel room, around 3:13 a.m. The caption for her shirtless photo reads, "This is not your brother cis late-age drama receipts on receipts." Scrappy's squad is presently silent since Stevie said that he had one last song and was awaiting the ideal moment to release it. But insiders say Stevie J is already the subject of a restraining order and a lawsuit. Bambi sources also claim that she is no longer there. In Atlanta, off the grid until if she sees clip 3, however, the storm passes, might never fully recover from the upcoming challenges. Secondly, this story isn't over yet. It's just the beginning of something much darker, deeper, and riskier. All right, family, I need to know what you think about. Was there something combustible about Bambi and Stevie's story? The real mastermind behind this whole hoax is Jay unified. Or is Scrappy the real victim? Drop in this game of wicked trickery. Your present thoughts in the space provided for comments. Who, in your opinion, won't hold back? Emerge as the winner. And who will get completely burned when clip 3 finally in the drops? Be sure to smack that like. If these startle you, click the button Revelations. This is not just another drama in a reality show. This is a serious situation. You don't want to miss any of the war's events. Second, subscribe by clicking the bell symbol to make sure we see you when we give you the most up-to-date details, including that mysterious third clip that has the whole internet tense. So let me understand what you would do if you were able to seek revenge against a person who, if someone were to deceive you in this manner, would you divulge? Every tape is either kept or leaked by every secret. Remember that this story is far from. There are yet more unsolved riddles, and every single one of them will be made public, of them as soon as new data becomes available. Have faith in me, be ready, and stay locked in. You must not ignore the approaching. Next, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Play this video for your team because when the next startling discovery is made, you want to be the first to learn about it.
Her supporters and admirers came together to support her, flooding social media with calls and supportive messages. Courageous and honest for speaking the truth, yet Erica's audience supported her. What would Yandy do next? The day after Erica's live webcast, nobody else broke the hush. Unlike Yandandy Smith-Harris, who had always been renowned for her cool, collected manner, she didn't frequently respond rashly, and this time was no exception. When she responded, it was with goal. But this time, the words were completely unexpected. Yandandy released a scary yet mysterious remark on Instagram, avoiding a direct mention of the affair. Instead, she observed, there's always more to the narrative than just the baby or even men's. What's being said, but the truth will surface when it's supposed to. Right now, my family and the future we're creating. Fans were astounded by this. What did she mean? No one knew if this was an indirect comment meant to refute the accusations or if it was confirmation of Erica's assertions. Yandandy made it apparent that she wasn't going to give up easily, and her cryptic remarks just made people wonder more as the days went by. Continued, Meng's quiet remained thieving. He had not yet addressed any of the charges. Others conjectured that he was holding off on speaking until the situation had subsided. Thought he was doing everything in his power to preserve his family's reputation, but the more he remained silent, the more started to question his sincerity. And then, just when the strain seemed too much to bear, an unidentified source close to Mendes and Yandandy revealed a fresh development. Shared an audio of a private discussion that supposedly occurred between the couple months prior. Captured Men and Yandy fighting over the affair and posted on other rumor websites. When Mendy hears the child in the recording declare, I never intended. I made a mistake for things to get this far, but it's over now, and I don't want to lose. Everything as a result of it. Yandy's icy, calculating reply was you. I'm aware that you've already lost me and that you've also lost her. The release caused a stir on social media saying, you did what you did, but I'm not playing these games with you anymore. Fans who were previously uncertain about what to trust now had indisputable evidence. Menses had known about the matter from the beginning. It wasn't just some little slip-up. It was a continuous problem that had persisted for much longer than anyone knew, and Yandandy's worst knowledge of Malik's fallout was fans were incensed right away, and it appeared that everyone was taking sides. Yandandy was defended by some who said she had every right to be angry and that she was only attempting to keep her family safe. Others joined Erica in accusing Men. DC's of manipulating both ladies for his personal gain for years with no meaningful repercussions, and Men DC finally spoke up when it appeared like the world was split, but his remarks just made things worse. Men DC's addressed the scandal in a video that was uploaded to his Instagram account, but rather of expressing regret or making a sincere speech, he came out as dismissive and defensive, saying, "People don't. You can easily judge from the outside, but you don't know the real thing," he remarked in a bland tone. "Sure, I'm not perfect and I've made mistakes, but I've also attempted to repair them." Fans were furious, feeling deceived not only by his actions but also by all of us. Acts, but his lack of responsibility appeared to divert accountability, as if the conflict between Erica and the rest of the world could be dismissed. As things between Mendes and Yandy reached a breaking point, social media was flooded with emotional responses. Erica's supporters vehemently backed her, whereas Yandy's supporters kept congratulating her for stating her truth at last. But there was still uncertainty over Erica's future. The drama wasn't limited to revealing the covert relationship, which was about taking back control of her life. Throughout the drama that had been crafted for her, she was more than just a victim. She was a woman who had taken charge, and she was now resolved to make sure her child would not be removed from the narrative, regardless of the cost. Erica said, "I'm not doing this for the likes, the comments, or the attention," or Yandy attempted to conceal the truth. Said, "I'm doing this for my son. He deserves the truth just like I do," he stated. The question at hand was whether Yandy and Mena would ultimately pay for their deeds or would. Despite the fractures in their facade, they continue to live in denial and attempt to maintain a picture-perfect family image. As the stakes in this high-stakes drama increased, the suspense was high and everyone was watching to see what would happen next. Everyone was watching to see what would happen next. Mendes's video caused quick and harsh backlash from followers who had previously. The tale, which began as a whispered rumor, had changed, and those who had been undecided were now taking sides furiously into a full-fledged media frenzy, yet Erica remained steadfast throughout it all, unrepentant for her choice to reveal the truth. But even as she received more support, the most important concern on everyone's mind as she faced new difficulties was if Minx and Yandy come forward at last, or would they keep lying in the hopes that Erica's ordeal would end? It wasn't just about the truth any longer. It was about surviving, and she was aware that the love was at risk. She had witnessed deception and backstabbing in the hip-hop industry before, but this she was in the center of the scandal and knew it would make or break her. Therefore, she wasn't just an outsider at the time. In one of her interviews, Erica stated, "I've spent my life being afraid of losing love, but I'm not afraid of them." She was different, but I'm not doing it anymore. She was losing respect and trust. The woman who first appeared on the scene all those years ago was innocent and hopeful. No, she was now a powerful force, and those who attempted to undermine her would see how resilient she was. Minx's quiet, meantime, was getting intolerable following his first. He posted no additional content, not even a tweet or an update on his Instagram gave the impression that he was hiding while attempting to control the mess he had made, but it was turning into. It's obvious that people started to regard him less the longer he remained silent. One fan called him a coward, said, "He made a mistake and is now pretending that he didn't, as if he couldn't even. If he truly loved Erica, he would take responsibility and stand up for his son," but the media was powerless to stop him from sheltering behind Yandy's skirts. Just keep spreading the word about the unresolved drama in one headline. Read, fans want answers after a fair revelation, but Men DC is still silent. Only increased the strain on him because, whether he wanted to or not, he had turned into the antagonist in this tale. Instead of publicly shocking everyone, Yandy's next step in the midst of all the commotion, instead of immediately addressing the media or confronting Erica, Yandy went into damage control mode and shared a number of she-posted images of her family, kids, and Menesses on Instagram. Family is all one reads about, but the captions were ambiguous but intensely emotional. Only declared, "I'll fight for my family no matter what." Yan Dandies was attempting to portray herself as strong, demonstrating that in spite of everything that had surfaced, she was defending her family and standing tall, but the response from fans was not encouraging. Many perceived it as in one of her fans made the following comment in an effort to spin the facts and act as though nothing had occurred. "How can you say, when your spouse betrays you in this way, Yandy, he betrays you both, and today, family is everything. You're acting as though everything is being spied on." Yan Dandy and Erica's tension was evident, and it went beyond a simple altercation. From NBC's heart no longer was a struggle for the truth. The media, the fans, and the public was waiting to see who would come clean first. Did Yandy confess to the affair to men? These eventually own up to their mistakes. But it wasn't just about them. The controversy was beginning to affect the other friendships on the show, and Yan Dandy started to some withdraw themselves in support of Erica, while others stick with Yandy despite the love in hip-hop. During a particularly stressful episode of the show, producers were caught in the middle, unsure of how to manage the drama. When the cast members gathered for the reunion event, the question of who understood what and when the question wasn't aimed only at Minx or Erica, but intended for everyone involved who witnessed the rifts in the relationship between Minx and Yandy, who was most crucially responsible for concealing the fact that Erica and Mena were involved. As everyone waited for someone to speak, the room fell silent for the purpose of the performance. Yan Dandy was clearly tense, avoided making eye contact with anyone because she had heard the rumors and was aware of what others were saying about her. Yandy said in a low voice, "I don't mean to explain myself to anyone," just before she was pushed into a corner by someone. "Company, my husband and I have been discussing what goes on behind closed doors. Through a lot, and I will continue to defend my family." However, Erica's voice continued to echo as she spoke. Erica turned to her and exclaimed, "Yandy," louder and more confident than before. "Don't appear as though you didn't see the indications. You are aware, not when every move she made would be dissected by millions, not when she was still trying to figure out whether her relationship had ever been real." Back in the city, NBC's tried reaching out to both women. He sent long texts to Yandy, apologizing, begging for another chance, explaining how scared and overwhelmed he'd been. He promised to take responsibility for the baby, to be there for Erica, but never cross the line again. He told Yandy she was his world, that what they had couldn't be erased. But the messages were left on read. He tried calling, straight to voicemail. He even showed up outside her friend's house once, but the door never opened. She needed time, and he had to respect that, even if it was killing him inside. He also tried to smooth things over with Erica, but those conversations didn't go well either. She was angry that he hadn't defended her more publicly, angry that he was suddenly trying to act like the victim, angry that she had to carry the weight of public shame while he got to hide behind vague apologies. "You made this mess," she told him in a heated phone call. "You wanted to live like a king, juggling two lives, and now that it's all blowing up, you're acting surprised. Nah, you don't get to play confused now." The call ended with Erica blocking his number. She didn't care about the cameras, the show, or the headlines. All she cared about was protecting her peace and her child. She knew that once the baby arrived, everything would change again, and she wasn't going to let the same man who ghosted her during her pregnancy walk in and pretend to be a hero. Not unless he earned it. As the days passed, new rumors started swirling. Some claimed Mendices had been spotted with a mystery woman at a lounge in Atlanta. Others said Yandy had moved into a new apartment and was already meeting with a divorce lawyer. Even Erica's name got dragged into fresh gossip, with blogs alleging she had a secret boyfriend all along and the baby might not be Mendices after all. None of it was confirmed, but it didn't matter. In the world of reality, perception was everything, and this storyline was spiraling into something nobody could control. A few producers pitched the idea of filming scenes separately with all three of them, trying to piece together the story without forcing them into the same room. Mendices agreed. Erica hesitantly said yes. Yandy didn't respond, but just when everyone thought she was done for good, she posted a single black screen on her Instagram story with the words, "Sometimes silence is strength, but I'll speak soon." The internet went wild. Blogs reposted it within minutes. Fans flooded the comments with support and curiosity. Even the official Vay1 page reposted it with the caption, "We're listening, Queen." A week later, she showed up to the studio. No cameras, no announcement. Just her, walking in with her team. She requested a private, unfiltered confessional. No producers, no audience, just her and the camera. They agreed immediately. She sat down, took a deep breath, and started to speak. Her voice was low, calm, but firm. She didn't hold back. She talked about the betrayal, the pain, the sleepless nights. She talked about being tired of fighting for a man who didn't know how to fight for her, tired of being the strong one, tired of pretending everything was okay. "I gave him everything," she said, eyes welling up. "I built a life with him, stood by him when everybody told me not to, and now I'm left picking up the pieces of something I didn't break." She paused, took a breath, then added, "But I'm not bitter. I'm not angry anymore. I'm just done." The confessional ended with her saying she would always do what's best for her children, and right now, that meant protecting her peace, no matter what that looked like. It was raw, it was real, and when it aired, it broke the internet. Millions watched, millions cried, millions applauded. The story had shifted once again, from scandal to strength. And while some fans still wanted Mendices and Yandy to reconcile, most agreed that she deserved better. Erica, meanwhile, stayed quiet during that week. No new posts, no statements. She was focused on getting through the final weeks of her pregnancy, determined not to let the noise drown her out. Mendices watched Yandy's confessional alone in his apartment. He didn't say a word, just stared at the screen, tears in his eyes, the weight of his actions crashing down all at once. He had broken something that might never be fixed. He had destroyed trust that took years to build, and now he had to live with that truth. The public might forgive him eventually. The network might spin it into redemption. But deep down, he knew he had lost the one thing he thought he could always count on. And as the city buzzed with reaction videos, think pieces, and trending hashtags, the three of understanding for all. But the biggest surprise was when Yandandy spoke next. For she had remained quiet for weeks, allowing the drama to play out around her. But this time, when she spoke to the camera, it's not just about men's. Her voice was steady but full of emotion. Yandandy stated, "It's about me. I've endured a lot and have permitted others to believe they could dictate my story, so I kept quiet because I didn't want to play the bad guy or have our story aired. Filthy laundry, but it's time to stop acting like that and stop shielding the lies." Her gaze met Menace's. "We both made mistakes, and while I'm not proud of the way I handled things, I'm not alone. We've both been living in a bubble, but now we're both dealing with the fallout, and I'm not the only one who was harmed. Need to accept that for the first time, there was a lot of tension in the room, which Yandandy and Men's both acknowledged. The mess they had made, but their contributions weren't enough. There was still more to say, but when Erica got up, the room fell silent as though everyone understood. Erica had been waiting for the truth to be spoken, and now was the moment that would make everything clear. For the story to be reversed and her suffering to be acknowledged at last, I had to spend years in hiding out of fear of what would happen if the truth were revealed. Erica spoke in a firm, unflinching voice. "However, I'm done hiding and acting like you all want the truth now. She made vows to me, just like you did, but has she resorted to men? You promised Yandy that we would be together, and you told me that he would be there, but when it came time to take charge, you fled, leaving me to raise our child by myself without your assistance. She stared at Yandy and Hugh without your help. You weren't the innocent one. Here, you either decided to remain silent or you knew what was happening. You made the decision to shield him, the reputation, and everything. But the truth that Erica spoke hit like a ton of bricks. Everyone in the room was silent as they processed the information they had just heard for years. Mendices and Yandindi had presented themselves as the ideal pair, the embodiment of devotion and love, but now that the facade was broken and cracks were apparent, I'm not writing this for the drama, Erica went on to do. I'm doing this because I'm taking this action for my son because he needs to know the truth and that his mother was never the one who was at fault. And he should know that he will always have someone to turn to, no matter how chaotic life becomes. The room erupted in cheers as he fought for him, and several people stood up for Erica. Others said nothing since they weren't sure where to pledge their allegiance, but the truth had been told, and nothing could reverse it. The following day, Erica Mena's expose of love made headlines everywhere. The media was abuzz after Triangle Mendici and Yandi's sinister secret was made public. And everyone was watching to see if Menik and Yandi would remain together or if the truth would come out. Destroy them permanently. What about Erica? She had revealed the deception, but now she had to deal with the fallout from her own decisions. And although it appeared that the family would never be the same one, as the dust settled, it was obvious that the truth had been revealed and that the world would never again view them in the same light. One thing is certain about this shocking discovery: nothing will ever be the same as the previously strictly regulated story about Minx and his. Erica Mena's decision to come forward has crumbled as the past has been shattered. Reveal a secret so profound that it has affected fans' families and the world at large. Relationships were strained, emotions were running high, and now a child might be at the heart of one of the most startling scandals in hip-hop and love history, regardless of whether that blur birth. When the certificate is fully disclosed, the harm has already been done, so trust is. Fans are demanding answers that may never be provided, and damaged reputations are left with scars, but the question still: can Yandandi wait for the men from DC to finally come out with the complete truth? Forgive such a significant breach, and what will happen to Erica next? Can she find closure, or will we witness further chaos? Hip-hop and love frequently bring forth conflict, but this time it feels deeper and more genuine. When it's your moment to speak, what do? But he asked for one thing, just one. Let me show you I can be better. Not for us, for our kids. Yandi read the letter alone in her room, she cried again. But this time, not out of pain, out of exhaustion. She was tired of being the one who always had to decide what came next. Weeks passed, the media buzz slowed. A new scandal took over the headlines. Fans moved on, but behind closed doors, the three of them were still dealing with the fallout. Erica focused on her daughter, choosing to raise her in peace, away from the spotlight. She considered moving out of state, starting fresh somewhere no one knew her name. Yandi returned to her nonprofit work, helping young girls find their voice, a mission that now felt more personal than ever. And Mendices, he started going to therapy, real therapy, no cameras, no crew, just him, a chair, and the weight of his choices. Over time, there were small shifts. Yandi allowed Mendices to see the kids, but only under supervision. Erica let him visit the baby once, but made it clear she was in control now. They weren't friends. They weren't enemies. They were three people bound by broken trust and a baby girl who didn't ask for any of this. And slowly, without anyone noticing, the noise started to fade. Then, out of nowhere, the one announced a surprise reunion episode. One night only, raw, unscripted, no filters. The promo had clips of old memories, tears, laughter, even a few shots from the recent confessional tapes. Fans were hyped. Everyone wondered, would all three show up? Would Yandi finally confront Mendices face to face? Would Erica speak her truth on camera again? The night of the reunion came. The studio was packed. Security was tight. Cameras rolled from every angle. Mendices walked in first, wearing a simple black hoodie, looking nervous but composed. Then Erica, holding her daughter, surrounded by a small group of friends. And finally, just when people thought she wasn't coming, Yandy stepped onto the stage. The room went silent. She sat down slowly, looked around, and simply said, "I'm here, not for drama, not for ratings, for closure." And in that moment, the story wasn't about betrayal anymore. It wasn't about scandal. It was about three people finally facing the truth, raw, exposed, and unfiltered. Because sometimes the loudest endings are the ones that come in silence. And sometimes closure doesn't look like forgiveness. It looks like walking away, stronger than you were before. As the reunion ended and the lights dimmed, the silence that followed said more than any script ever could. The journey from denial to confrontation, from heartbreak to hard truths, had been long, messy, and unforgettable. Fans who had followed every twist were left with mixed emotions. Some felt closure, others wanted more. But one thing was certain, this wasn't just another love and hip-hop drama. This was real pain, real choices, and real consequences. Mendices, Yandy, and Erica each walked their separate paths, but the echoes of their decisions would be felt for years. Social media lit up with reactions, debates, and support from fans who had taken sides since the very beginning. Some called it redemption. Others saw it as the final nail in the coffin. But deep down, everyone knew they had just witnessed something raw, something that hit different. And now we want to hear from you. What do you think about everything that went down? Was Mendices really telling the truth? Did Yandy make the right choice by stepping away? And what about Erica? Was her decision to go public brave or calculated? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this story is far from over. And if you've been riding with us through all the chaos, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping updates, untold stories, and behind-the-scenes drama that the networks won't show you. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss another twist, because when it comes to love, lies, and Demetest, there's always more than meets the eye. Until next time, stay tuned, stay curious, and remember, sometimes the real story begins when the cameras stop rolling.